same passion that even us as fans have for the game. So if they're not as passionate for the game and they're not pushing themselves to even show up to the games, why are fans watching and tuning in? Like, everyone's complaining about the viewership. I just think that it's also early in the season and a lot of people are just casual fans too. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if this is not your first time. My name is Raquel. I'm here with the Raw Report. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm doing so much better. Thank you guys so much. I'm just trying to get through things, but before we get started, if you guys are interested, please do me a favor, subscribe, like, comment, as well, of course, share the content if you like it. So today's video is going to be a little bit of a switch up from the normal content that I report on, which is like the WNBA and news of that nature. I wanted to talk about the NBA. So the NBA season has begun, and every year there's this like big thing about what's going on in the NBA and the viewership, because the viewership is down. And my take on that is just going to be a quick take, because I think there's a lot of factors that's going into it. One of the people that I kind of looked at and watched their video was Legend of Winning for his channel Foot on the Line. And he made some very valid points. But one of the things I thought that makes me disinterested in a game, as a huge basketball fan who literally like plans their day around being able to watch basketball content and really be engulfed in it, because I actually have a passion and a love for the game. I love sports in general, but basketball is like my favorite, just to be completely honest. The players are playing a big factor for me. Like, the majority of the time, players have been taking time off. Unfortunately, players are getting injured more and more, even though they have like high technology of like the best trainers, best equipment, you know, sports health is much better. It's all these different factors, yet players are constantly injured and constantly out. And to me, when that happens, it's like, I want to watch, but I'm not as interested in watching a game when there's like the superstar players not there, and one team is one-sided heavier than the other and things of that nature. Plus, the NBA has done an awful job at marketing these other players. And what I mean by that is like the focus is still on the veteran players, the older players, the players who are nearing retirement, such as LeBron, such as Steph Curry, such as KD, such as like the older veteran players. And then even some of the ones that are in their prime, which is like Giannis to me, AD, Jokic, Luka, now Tatum is in his prime, things like that. None of these people are literally like the face of the league. It's all the other previous players. And then when you sit here and you look at the younger generation of players who are coming up, such as Ant, you have like Ja Morant, you have Paolo Banchero, who a lot of people are just sleeping on. You have now this year Jared McCain, Tyrese Maxey, the list goes on for the people who are like up and coming players, Chet Holmgren, SGA, different things like that. They're not being pushed. The NBA marketing has been horrible. And then when you're watching games, it's been so horrible so far this year. It's been a lot of blowouts, which it just means like a team is just scoring a lot of points, and it's like, yay, fun. It's a lot of the game is losing its edge with defense. I am a defensive minded person. I've always been said defense wins championships. NBA went very much towards an offensive game, and it's just not the same. It's not fun. It's like you just see teams like lack complete defense. There's literally not a lot of versatility with what is happening out there. You do see players such as Wemby, which, oh my God, why didn't I mention Wemby? Wemby is like one of the best upcoming players, and he is somebody that they are marketing, and I think they're doing a pretty decent job of that. But like, say like Wemby, Luka, things like that, like they're marketing them, but they're not marketing them as the face of the WNBA. Wow. I talk too much about the WNBA. They're not marketing them as the face of the league. They're kind of marketing like, oh, great players, da-da-da-da-da. I think that the NBA is giving us bad product, and too many players are missing. There's several injuries. There's constantly injuries. And then they were doing all this load management for years where they just weren't showing up to the games. And then there's the biggest issue, which is the way the games are airing. Like, it's so hard now to even watch sports, or at least the NBA, because like you need league pass, you need cable, you need this, you need that, you need all these different avenues that they're literally like making it damn near impossible. Like, you can't even see any of your local teams play because you have to have cable, you have to have all these other things, and I think that's factoring into it. So it's like the NBA are signing these super max contracts, $355 million, $65 million for players. And they're making all this money, and all of that is going to the consumer. And then the consumers are showing up to the games, ticket sales, and then the superstars aren't even playing. And then you've already paid for league pass. You have to have some type of cable. You have to have some type of streaming. You have to have all this. And then there's all this stuff that's factoring into it. And then players aren't showing up. So you're paying so much out of pocket. And yes, these players are getting all these huge deals, and congrats to them. But when are the players actually going to give back to the actual community of basketball by showing up? And again, I know you cannot help injuries and things of that nature, so I don't want to seem insensitive to that. But it's so crazy because I grew up like in the Kobe era. And I just remember how like you didn't see players like missing like 20, 40 games. Like you've seen players like playing through a lot of injuries. Now, granted, you can say, well, that wasn't a good thing because some players got injured and then that injuries hurt them and then that entailed shortening their career and things of that nature. I do agree to that. So then my solution would be shorten the season. But at this point in time, it's like these NBA players in a way too are coming off as prima donnas. Like, oh, I'm not going to play back-to-backs. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do. You're getting paid hundreds of millions of dollars to tell me that whatever reason outside of injuries, you're just not going to show up. I mean, there's always this personal things, this and that. It's like they don't have the same passion that even us as fans have for the game. So if they're not as passionate for the game and they're not pushing themselves to even show up to the games, why are fans watching and tuning in? That's all I'm going to say. There's the factor that there's unfortunately not a lot of people even playing the game in a lot of like versatility now. You have a lot of 3-point shooting. Everybody's factoring that into things. I think Shaq said it. I'm basically going off of Lowe's video on Foot on the Line. I don't even think it's necessary for me for that. It's literally like players who are supposed to be star players or the best players on the team aren't making it, aren't showing up, or they're always injured. And again, like I said, I'm not being insensitive to their injuries. For me, it's also, like I said, the marketing. Like the NBA, I feel like they're not really trying to even market and push people. Like I think they're just like, hey, you guys are going to watch, you're going to tune in no matter what, so do it. But that's not what's happening. You guys' viewership is down unless it is the big old time players such as Curry, such as LeBron, KD, and things of that nature. And yes, you have Luka and Jokic and different players like that that's going to draw people in. But for the most part, like the NBA product has become very repetitive, boring, and it's just not as exciting. And some of the players that you guys could be giving more shine to, you guys are deciding not to. And it's weird. It makes no sense. And it's going to be detrimental to the league. Plus, you have the counteract that I think plays a role is that women's basketball is on the rise. Women's basketball, college players is on the rise because college players are staying in school for a very long time with the women's side of it, whereas the men are just coming into the league unprepared. So it's so crazy because if you guys are paying attention, this year, the players that are playing best as rookies are not the ones who just came out after their first year. They're the ones who have a longer tenure, maybe been there for 2 to 3 years, like Jared McCain, Dalton Connect, and I can't think of the other guy, sorry. But there's something to that. And a lot of the time with women's basketball growing and the excitement from that, a lot of people are paying attention and actually growing a like connection with these players prior to them getting into the professional leagues. I don't think that the men's game is doing that anymore. It's like one and done. It's been like that. Or, they skipped it. And I don't know. It's just losing its authenticity that's missing. But that could just be me. I could be delusional. But with that being said, you guys leave your comments below. Are you guys tuning into the NBA? Do you guys care? Or are you guys like me and kind of paying more attention to women's? I still love the NBA. I tune into a lot of games, but I see myself like less and less wanting to watch as much NBA games, just to be completely honest. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you guys subscribe, like, and comment, of course, and then always share the content if you like it. And you guys, this video really is just me saying, like, everyone's complaining about the viewership. I just think that it's also early in the season and a lot of people are just casual fans too. Keep that in mind. All right, peace.